Hey, so what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video, we're going to react to these terrible, insane Fangraphs 2022 projection standings. Now, first, I do want to say that this is obviously quite the odd time to come out with these, considering the lockout that MLB is in right now. It's quite the interesting time to come out with these, but I think they're also kind of predicting and stuff around free agent moves that they think are going to happen and that are not. So yeah. Before I get into this video though, make sure you drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn notifications, because on this channel, we are still pumping out great baseball content, even though there is a lockout right now. We are pumping out great baseball content on this channel, so make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn notifications. So yeah, let's go ahead and start off in the American League West. And the first one, in fifth place, they have the Texas Rangers finishing with a 73-89 record, which I'm going to also mention that I don't think there's going to be 162 games in 2022. But for the Rangers, they've already had quite the big offseason before the lockout, already signing guys like Marcus Semien and Corey Seager. But I can't understand the fifth place pick here. The Rangers still struggle with starting pitching, and in the relief pitching category, they have a lot of struggles pitching-wise, even though their offense is very, very good. It's just, I don't know that their pitching is going to be able to hold up unless they make a big move, get somebody like Luis Castillo or somebody like that. Then maybe they could work that out. But I just don't see it happening with the current roster, and I think that this one is not too far-fetched. I think that this is about right. Maybe a little off wins loss, but still. The one in fourth place, though, really makes me scratch my head, with the Seattle Mariners tied with the Oakland Athletics for third place with an overall record of 80 wins against 82 losses. I just can't see this one happening. The Mariners won 90 games back in 2021, and the Mariners have made big improvements. I think Adam Frazier was a very good move, even though he didn't perform very well in San Diego. This guy hit for an over 305 batting average. Obviously, he's not going to hit for the power, but still. Jared Kelenic, I think, is going to get better next year than he was. I think even Kyle Lewis is going to step up from what he was in 2021. And they brought in the big addition of Robbie Ray, who won the American League Cy Young in 2021. So I think the move of Robbie Ray as well is very good. And I think that this is a Mariners team that is much better than 80 wins. And the Oakland Athletics are a team that looks to be going in a rebuilding direction. And I would find it quite surprised if they do end up winning 80 games in 2022 with the current rumors and stuff. It seems like Matt Olson, Matt Chapman, Chris Bassett, Sean Manaea, Frankie Montas, even Lou Trevino will all be up for grabs to be traded. They have them projected to finish in third, which seems a little crazy to me, with an overall record of 80 wins against 82 losses. And for the Angels, they project them to finish in second with an overall record of 81 wins and 81 losses. So here's the thing. I don't think the Angels are that great, honestly. I think that the Angels are an above average team. Obviously, they've got the great offense that they do have, but their pitching is just not that great. Ohtani, Syndergaard at the top of that rotation is going to be solid. And even Sandoval had a very solid year, 3.62 ERA, and even Jose Suarez. But I still think this is, with the uncertainty of Noah Syndergaard and the uncertainty that he did bring with all the injuries and stuff, and Ohtani does a lot hitting-wise as well, I think that they need arguably a number one still in that rotation, because I don't know that you can rely on any of those guys to be that. So definitely one more starter, and they could definitely use some bullpen help. Aaron Luke performed really well in 2021. In a small sample size, Austin Warren did. Russell Iglesias obviously did, and Mike Myers as well. They'll get Ty Buttrey back possibly. But yeah. And in first place, they have the Houston Astros with an overall record of 91 wins against 71 losses. I can understand this. I don't know if they bring back Carlos Correa or not, but Trevor Story, they could still bring him in. Or they could rely on top prospect Jeremy Pena to go ahead and fill in that void. They get Justin Verlander back, which is a big move for a team that just went into the World Series. That's a big guy to get back, even though he is coming off Tommy John surgery. I expect Verlander to still be back to pretty good form. I would say. The bullpen is looking pretty solid as well, minus the loss of Kendall Graveman. They brought in Hector Neris to kind of replace him there. And their starting pitching, obviously, very, very good, along with the lineup, which is very, very good as well. I can definitely understand why they have the Astros winning the American League West. Can't understand the Mariners in athletics, or even really the Angels. And next up, let's go ahead and get to the AL Central. For the AL Central, in 5th place, the Kansas City Royals. This makes a lot of sense. They're projected to have a 74-88 record. This is a Kansas City Royals team that's not very good. Salvador Perez is really good. And in the later stages of his career, I would like to see him be winning more than what's happening right now. Bobby Witt's going to come up, Nick Prado, MJ Melendez. They have some exciting prospects coming up. Just there's nothing much to be excited about with the Royals right now. Nothing much to talk about. 4th place, they have the Minnesota Twins with a 75-87 record. Here's the thing with the Twins. The Twins have terrible starting pitching. And their pitching is just so terribly bad, especially the starting pitching. If Dylan Bundy's your number one, that's just so bad. Dylan Bundy is a number 5 fringe bullpen arm. Like, he is not good at all. This is a guy who posted a 6.06 ERA and is your number one. No, that's all I need to talk about with the Twins. In 3rd place, they have the Detroit Tigers with a 76-86 record. I think that the Tigers will have a much better record than this in 2022. I think that the Tigers are actually going to be a very solid team, if not an above-average team. They brought in Javier Baez as their big move, who posted a 265 batting average with 31 home runs between New York and Chicago. And they also do kind of need some bullpen help, though, even though their bullpen in some parts was pretty solid last year. I think they could use somebody like a Colin McHugh, and they'll get Spencer Turnbull back in the rotation. And in 2nd place, is the Cleveland Guardians with a 78-84 record. I just don't see this happening. I think that the Guardians could trade Jose Ramirez when the lockout ends and stuff. I just am not. I just don't like that. And in 1st place, they have the Chicago White Sox. Of course, the White Sox have the great lineup with Tim Anderson, Yohan Moncada, Jose Abreu, Yasmani Grandal, Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez. So many guys. They could look for a second baseman and right fielder after the lockout. They could definitely use that. I think Micker Adolfo is really going to be somebody that's good for them. And maybe they give a chance to Andrew Vaughn in right field. Who knows? He's a guy with a lot of potential. They drafted 3rd overall back in 2019. They have a very good starting rotation as well. They could use a 5-starter, I think, which they need to bring back Carlos Rendon really in that rotation, which would kind of just fill the whole void to make them one of the best starting rotations in the league. The bullpen is stacked as well. Liam Hendricks, Craig Kimbrell. Craig Kimbrell looks to be on his way out. Kendall Graveman, Garrett Crochet, Michael Kopech. They've got so many guys there. And yeah, I think they'll easily take the Central in 2022. And the AL East. The Baltimore Orioles projected 64-98. You know, I'm not going to go crazy about that. That's about accurate. Adley Rutschman's going to come up. He's going to be really good for this team. John Means, Cedric Mullins might be on the move. Not a lot to be excited with the Orioles until a couple of years. The Boston Red Sox finished in 4th with an 83-79 record. Now, I could see the Red Sox actually doing better than this. The Red Sox surprised us all in 2021 with how good they were. And I think that they could do that again. I think that they possibly might sign somebody like Seiya Suzuki. And this is a team that they could use some bullpen help and starting pitching help. It's just a matter of the money situation. In 3rd place is the Tampa Bay Rays with an 88-74 record. This is one that I just can't get behind. No matter what the Rays do, even if they trade Glass now or whatever, this is a team that always performs. And they always do. They always do. And even though they did have the early exit in 2021, this is a team that won the division. Who would have thought? And yeah, I mean, this is a crazy thing to put them there. 2nd place is the Toronto Blue Jays, 89-73. This Blue Jays team gets some upgrades as far as your bullpen. because Romano, I mean, he's okay, but they need some bullpen help. And if they could get bullpen help, this is a team that I don't think is crazy enough to say that could win 100 games in 2022. And I'm not even exaggerating. The Blue Jays are a very fun team to watch, and the Blue Jays are the future of the AL in my opinion. And in first place is the Yankees, 90-72 record. No, I just don't think so. The Yankees have continued to underperform, and they need a big first base bat. They need starting pitching, in my opinion. And yeah, they need quite a bit, and they need a shortstop. So they need quite a bit right now, and that they just don't have it. I don't think that they're better than the Blue Jays or Rays right now. I can tell you that for sure. And borderline the Red Sox. I think that they're like a third place team right now. That's where they project. Now, some of this could be the free agents that they signed and stuff. But let's go ahead and go to the NL West. 66-96 projections for the fifth place Rockies. The Rockies, this makes a lot of sense. The Rockies are going to lose Trevor Story, but they are going to get a draft pick back. German Marquez might be traded. Ryan McMahon, CJ Cron. They've got some valuable assets. It's just simply the Rockies are not good. So, yeah, pretty simple. And in fourth place is the Arizona Diamondbacks with a record of 72-90 projected. And the Diamondbacks are just not a good team. They'll probably look at possibly trading Ketel Marte. And yeah, this is a team that, does have some players that could be traded. I really liked how good Dalton Varsho was and Josh Rojas for them in 2021. They got a chance. It's going to be hard to get off the contract of Madison Bumgarner, I would say. Very hard, actually, to get off that contract. That's quite the bad contract there. They brought in Mark Melancon, and he's a guy that I think is the guy that you look at to trade at the trade deadline. I think he would be a great asset to possibly trade at the trade deadline. In third place, they have the San Francisco Giants with an 81-81 record. Now, I can get behind this as well. And the Giants, the Giants here is they won 107 games in 2021, but they're not really close to the team that they were. Buster Posey retired. He was one of their better bats. Now they're going to be relying on their second overall pick back in 2018 and Joey Bart. They're going to lose Chris Bryant as well, and they've already lost Kevin Gausman. This is a team that, even though they did perform very, very well last year, I don't know if they're going to be able to repeat that and get the same production from these guys. And they're getting up there in age, like Brendan Crawford. He posted a really good season last year, but he's 35 years old. Same thing for Brandon Bell at 33 years old. Evan Longoria at 36. This is a team that's getting up there in age. And even Darren Ruff, who's pretty good, 35 years old. And in second place, we have the San Diego Padres. The Padres here are projected to have a 90-72 record. And I just want to say, all the records is the main reason why I call these projected standings so bad. Not only the timing of this article and stuff, but it's just the overall records and stuff. The best record that they have for a team is 94-68. I'll just go ahead and spoil that it's with the Dodgers, which is very underwhelming. I just don't think that that's true. I just don't. No. Just no. All right, for the Padres, you've got Fernando Tatis, MVP type conversations. He'll be moving back short, only 23 years old. You've got Cronenworth, too, who's really good. Machado as well. Grissom, who's very good at the top of their order. Their starting pitching is definitely a bit of a question mark along with the bullpen. Both of those are quite the question marks for me right now, especially the starting pitching. The starting pitching depth was why they didn't make it to the playoffs in 2021. Similar to the 106 win last year Los Angeles Dodgers, who ended up really losing in the playoffs for the same reason, the lack of starting pitching depth. Now they're going to get Dustin May and what looks to be Trevor Bauer back in 2022 if they want him back. And see, here's the thing. They lost Corey Seager and Max Scherzer in free agency, two which are big bummers. And, I think that Gavin Lux still is going to perform pretty well, and you can just move Trey Turner over to shortstop and stuff. And Chris Taylor's a starter for most teams anyways. But it's a matter of how Dustin May is, Trevor Bauer is coming back, and they're going to need to perform quite a bit to, fill the voids of Max Scherzer and Corey Seager there. And in the NL Central, 5th place Pirates, clearly 68-94. The Pirates have one of the best futures in baseball, but simply not right now. Are they a good team at all? Next up in 4th place is the Chicago Cubs with a 76-86 record. Now, I think that the Cubs will finish in 3rd place in this division. And that's obviously not saying too much, but I think 76-86 for them is underwhelming. For the projections that I think is going to happen for the rest of the offseason and stuff, I think that the Cubs will have a better record than 78-86. But I think the 3rd place Reds projected at 80-82 will have a worse record than this. The Reds are going to lose a huge bat. Nick Castellanos, an MVP type numbers that he put up. They possibly are going to trade one of those big three as far as starting pitchers. Their bullpen's terrible, probably the worst in the league, if I'm being honest. So the Cincinnati Reds, 80-82, I doubt they finish at that. They do have a couple of exciting prospects and stuff, like Nick Lodolo and Hunter Green, but simply, no. And in 2nd place is the Milwaukee Brewers, definitely a head-scratcher at 88-74. Just a head-scratcher for me. The Brewers made the big trade to get Hunter Renfroe seconds before the lockout. And, they've got Christian Yelich, who I think is going to rebound in 2022. And, you've got Willy Adames, too, who could have won MVP, and I wouldn't have thought it was too crazy in 2021. And, yeah, I think that the record's underwhelming, not to mention the great starting pitching that they have with Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff, Freddie Peralta, and Josh Hader back in to close it out in the 9th inning. And in 1st place is the St. Louis Cardinals with a record of 89-73. This is definitely a head-scratcher for me. Goldschmidt's getting up there in age. Arenado obviously is going to be really good. I saw a comment on my video that said that Nolan Arenado is better than Jose Ramirez, and I just simply don't agree with that. Yes, I understand that Arenado was, adapting to a new team and stuff, and even coming off an injury. But the Cardinals are just not a better team than the Brewers for me. And in 5th place in the National League East, the final division, is the Washington Nationals with a record of 75-87. The Nationals are just not good. It's simple. They're carried by Juan Soto, and that's it. 4th place Marlins, 80-82. I think they'll be more towards maybe a little bit above average. I actually liked a lot what the Marlins did this offseason, before the lockout, trading for Joey Wendell, Jacob Stallings. I liked a lot of the moves that they made, even extending Sandy Alcantara, bringing in Avisail Garcia. I think that they made a lot of right moves, and I think that they're heading definitely in and towards the right direction. And I think that the Marlins, in 4th place, I think that they could arguably finish in 3rd. I really do think that this Marlins team is better than 80-82 record. 3rd place, Philadelphia Phillies, 82-80. I don't buy this one. The Phillies are just not a very good team right now. They're about average at best. They have a terrible bullpen, one of the worst in the league. Probably second to the Reds, because the Reds have just such a bad bullpen. And the Phillies, they've got Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto. They've got decent starting pitching as well. But the bullpen is just so bad, and it hurts them so much. I'm pretty sure that they lost probably at least like 20 games last year just over the bullpen, of how much the bullpen screwed up. And in 2nd place, they have the New York Mets, which to some people is a head-scratcher. But what's the more head-scratcher here is the 88-74 record. I just can't buy this at all. The Mets made a lot of great moves. They brought in Max Scherzer, another Cy Young type guy, to pair along with Jacob deGrom, the best 1-2 in the league. And you've got a pretty solid bullpen with Edwin Diaz and Trevor May and more. And, you've got a really stacked lineup as well with Nemo, Starling Marte. Lindor probably will rebound in 2022 if I was predicting. McNeil's probably going to get traded. I would not be surprised either if you do see Dominic Smith in a trade, because he could be valuable as well. Even J.D. Davis is a potential trade candidate. Eduardo Escobar had a really good year in 2021, and Mark Canha's going to be solid. We don't know what to expect from Robinson Cano, but his contract is really huge, and I don't know what to expect from him. I mean, he was looking good in that one league. I don't know what it's called, but he was looking good there, but who knows what he'll be able to do without the steroids. And in first place is the Atlanta Braves with a record of 90 wins and 72 losses. See, this is the head scratcher for me. It's the records. It's not totally the places of where the teams are in the standings. It's more of these just projected records that are so head scratching. Now, I understand maybe you make this prediction with the sense that they're not going to re-sign Freddie Freeman, which I think they are. But still, you've got to look at something here. I don't know that Matt Olson wouldn't be a better option than Freddie Freeman if we could trade for him. And even if we don't get either one of those and even settle for somebody like Anthony Rizzo, we didn't have Ronald Acuna last year. And we're going to be getting Ronald Acuna, Mike Soroka, even Charlie Morton we didn't have for most of the playoffs. So I'm telling you that this Braves team, if they could do it without Acuna, Soroka, Morton, then they can do it without Freddie Freeman. As much of a vital part to this team as Freddie Freeman was, I still think that it's possible that they could do it without him. Rosario, that's a guy they need to bring back, and Soler. Because their outfield's kind of looking pretty weak right now with Waters and Pache. These are two guys that just, I think they're just, they're just not it right now. And the bullpen had some pretty good performances, especially from Luke Jackson, Tyler Matzik, and Will Smith. And like I said, and even another guy that's kind of underrated is Kirby Yates, who they're going to be getting, a 34-year-old. Who knows what he'll be coming off the Tommy John, but maybe he can be somebody good. And yeah, so here's the thing. Here's my main problem with this is, like I've said, the timing. Some of the more head-scratching ones for me is the Rays in third place. That's definitely a head-scratcher. The Brewers in second is definitely a head-scratcher for me. And, even the, disappointing record of the Tigers is pretty crazy to me, too. And the Yankees in first is probably the craziest on here. When I first saw this, my immediate reaction was this definitely was a Yankees fan that made this. And it may be. But this is a pretty terrible article, pretty awful article for a pretty well-known site in the Major League Baseball world in Fangraphs. That's where this came from. And that's pretty terrible from them. It's awful. It's always awful with them, and it's fun to react to because it's just dumb, funny takes. But yeah. So yeah, that's going to be the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn notifications because, like I said, this is the place to be for great baseball content throughout the lockout and the offseason. So make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn notifications. Thank you for watching, and peace.